Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Let me have a look. See how many people. I'm just checking because we had some issues this morning with the weather in Spanish. So now I'm double checking, making sure that everything's correct this time. So I don't have any issue in this case. I'll try. Gonna wait around 5 minutes until most of the people are connected. Let me see. We'll start sharing my screen. Let's see. Let's go right this way. Let's see. Okay. I need to double check everything because again I want to make sure the connection goes well and I don't have any lag the way they have it was this morning. Welcome everyone, by the way. Today I'm going to explain about current project we got in Dolores, apartment Mykonos. Most of you know already about the project because it's been in the market for a while, but we want to focus again on it as we have released the second phase of it. So, yeah. Good afternoon to the ones. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. I know that now I'm going to do the whole explanation in English. For some of you that you already told me that probably in Spanish would be easier. For those para aquellos que el inglés no sea muy allá y necesitéis que os explique algo en español, voy a tener que hacer algún cambio de un idioma a otro para aquella duda que tengáis, dado el problema que hemos tenido esta mañana con el directo en español, que se nos ha colgado. Parece ser que había una mala conexión, no sé qué ha sucedido, que se ha caído y una vez he intentado recuperarlo ya no me daba la posibilidad. Necesitaba volver a crear un nuevo enlace, volver a compartirlo y ya era demasiado follón para volver a darlo de alta, ¿vale? De todas formas, voy a hacer la explicación en inglés, ¿vale? Pero cualquier duda que no entendáis, por favor, decídmelo en español, estoy pendiente del chat, ¿vale? Y yo mismo os respondo en español, ¿vale? No me importa que el webinar sea en ambos idiomas, pero es verdad que la explicación principal será en inglés, ¿vale? So just for those ones that don't speak such good Spanish, what I'm saying is because we had some issues this morning with the webinar in Spanish, it got cut and there was no way for me to rejoin the whole streaming. I couldn't continue with it. So for those ones that don't speak very proper English, that could ask in the chat, I will have a look and then I will answer in Spanish, and even I will answer that also in English. Okay, so that way any question in English or Spanish can be answered in both languages. Okay, as for all of you to know. Let's see, what's the time? Full host. I'm gonna be starting, because the good thing about YouTube is that the whole video will be uploaded straight away in YouTube. So this we will share it to everyone again by email on all our social media. So if there's anything missing, it will be over there. Or again, as I'm saying, once I finish with the explanation, with the whole presentation, you can make as many questions as you need, okay? Lo que digo, lo bueno del vídeo, que va a estar subido también en YouTube, se va a subir directamente. Entonces, cualquier duda, cualquier cosita que después queréis volver a revisar, lo podéis revisar de nuevo el vídeo. O como digo, al final hacéis todas las preguntas y dudas que tengáis al respecto, ¿vale? So, I'm going to be starting with the presentation of apartment Mykonos, okay? As I was saying before, this what we are explaining today is the new phase we're releasing now. First phase was going very well. There's only 4 apartments left out of the 16 we put on sale beginning of the year. I'm sorry, no, end of around September last year when we released the project. It's going quite well. And now we're presenting the new phase. We're releasing with another 16 apartments, okay? For most of you that know already, you know that I'm mainly focusing in Los Alcázares, and in this case it's David, my colleague who's in charge of the sales in Dolores. But for me, it's quite an important project, as some of you know already, Dolores is my hometown. I know that I don't live there anymore, but for me, it's always, it feels good to talk about your town, trying to sell the town the way you have lived, what Dolores has given me as a person. It's good to share that feeling to everyone. I'm very happy to have clients coming over and buying a house in Dolores. So I will explain everything about the project and a little bit about Dolores too, some places that you could go, and some points about it, okay? As most of you know, in this case, Dolores in south of Alicante, very important because most of you know me from Los Alcázares, and many people are always getting confused about Dolores when I'm talking about Dolores. I don't mean Dolores from Torre Pacheco, but Dolores Alicante, okay? Close to Elche in this case. As you know, Dolores, you can see in the photo, it's only 12 kilometers to Guardamar and La Marina Beach. It's a very beautiful place. The way it is very well located, quite easy to get from Dolores to the beach. By car would be around 12-15 minutes driving, and by bicycle, it's so easy to get there. Within 25-30 minutes maximum, you can get there by bicycle. It's quite nice to ride from Dolores to there. I've done it many times because you go through the fields to all these secondary roads. It's all flat, quite nice, no traffic to get all the way to the beach, okay? And Dolores in this case is 25 minutes from the airport, okay? It's a town with between 8 and 9,000 people living permanently there. I know the official figures says around 8,300, but for what I know, it's closer to 9,000 than 8,000 in this case, okay? Just for you to show you a photo of how the communal pool is looking. It's quite nice. It gives a very nice holiday feeling. As most of you know, in this case, just to recap a little bit about the apartment Mykonos. This is something that is coming from our first project that we released, Mykonos and Santorini villas, that were it's 4 years. It's over 4 years since the time we first released these two villas that have been very, very popular. Not everyone, but most of the people love the style, this Ibiza style that we gave to the project. And because it was something that we loved and we want to carry on building, we decided to do a restyling from the villas and turn these properties into apartments in this case. Okay, it's apartments instead of villas, but with the same touch, the same feeling. Okay, in this case, you can see the location of the project. This photo was taken actually yesterday. I flew the drone and took this photo of the current stage of the construction. You can see first phase, it's almost finished. We will talk about that later. Okay, and you can see the gap where the second phase is coming. In this case, if you see, it's literally inside the town. It's on the skirts of the town. All the services here are just walking distance. Actually, you can see in the left-hand side of the photo where the sports center is with all the tennis, paddle, and football fields. Everything's over here. Okay, and then within 5-10 minutes, we have all bars and restaurants inside town, walking distance. Okay, also supermarkets. We have 3 supermarkets inside town. We have medical center. Everything it's inside a town, so you don't need to be grabbing the car every single time you need anything. You have everything in Dolores in this case. Okay. As I said before, Alicante's airport is actually 25 minutes driving from Dolores. There are 2 different ways to get there for those ones that don't know so well the town. The AP7 is only 2 minutes away from the town, so it's quite easy to get just the motorway and drive all the way to Alicante's airport. Or for those ones that are more local, in this case, like in my case, for example, it's quite easy just to get the road towards Elche and get there even some days, even in 20 minutes to get to the airport. Okay. On the other side, just turning around the photo, we can see how places like Benihofar, which is very hot at this moment, is only 10 minutes away from Dolores, and golf courses. You all know that we have around 20 golf courses within an hour driving. In this case, the closest ones would be La Marquesa Golf in Rojales and La Finca Golf in Algorfa, both around 10 minutes driving from here. But even if we talk about places like Vista Bella Golf, it's also around 10-12 minutes. And all the golf courses like Alenda, for example, and Font del Job are around 20 minutes driving towards Elche and then towards Madrid. And obviously the ones in Orihuela Costa like Las Ramblas, Campo Amor, Las Colinas, all those golf courses are in between 20 and 30 minutes from Dolores. Okay. So for those ones that don't know that well the project, this is the composition of it. In this case, what we have is 32 apartments divided in 2 different blocks. Okay, we have 16 apartments in one block, and then another 16 apartments in the other block. Bueno, acabo de leer la pregunta. Luego, si quieres, hablamos sobre eso y lo explico en este caso en ambos idiomas, ¿vale? Para que entendáis un poquito cómo funciona, porque además, como digo, yo soy de Dolores, de hecho, y te puedo explicar perfectamente cómo va eso, ¿vale? Para que no tengáis ningún tipo de problema al respecto. So yeah, getting back to the explanation, as I was saying, in this case, we have 2 different blocks of 16 apartments each. 16 apartments in this case on the ground floor, and another 16 apartments on the top floor with the solarium. In this case, the way you see it is composed, all the ground floor apartments are coming with their own parking space and surface. Okay, I will explain a little bit that a little bit later, the way it is, because every single ground floor has its own parking space inside their own plot. Okay, and then the parking spaces you see at the bottom, these ones here and these ones here, okay, they all belong to the top apartments. In this case, all of them, all the top floor unallocated parking space and storage room. I think probably you can see the storage rooms here and here. One storage room for each apartment. Okay. Now, if I start talking about the apartments, in this case, starting with the ground floor apartment, as I was saying before, we have 16 apartments of 2 or 3 bedrooms. I'll explain a little bit later why these 2 or 3, because the situation about the third bedroom. Okay. As I was saying, all the ground floor apartments with their own parking space at the front terrace. Okay. And then a back terrace of around 30 square meters towards the pool, the one actually you can see in the picture here. Okay. And then every single ground floor has its own storage room actually below the staircase towards the upper levels. Okay. This is an example of one of the options we have for ground floors. All the ground floors are pretty much like this one. Okay. The thing is, if you see parking space always allocated at the front terrace, as you see here, okay? So that way for clients that are looking for something comfortable, all in one level, this is one of the perfect options because it's very private the way it is. You have your own driveway, you get in and out through your own gates, you have to be using the communal areas to get to your ground floor, okay? Once you access the property, something that I like a lot is the fact that you don't need to get to the house through the kitchen or the living room. It's not the typical property where you open the door and you see straight away the fridge in front of you or the sofa with the TV. In this case, we have a hall. So once we enter, we have a hall here, a long corridor where we have the bedrooms and the shared bathroom. And then we get to an almost 30 square meters living room kitchen connected directly to the back terrace here. You can see 32 square meters, this one is. Okay. Then, as I was saying, the situation about the third bedroom. In this case, if you see the third bedroom is only 6 square meters. This, to be honest, for those clients that are looking for specifically 3 bedrooms, I would consider something that is quite small. That's the truth, because most of the times they're looking for more like 3 bedrooms, more or less the same size, or at least the second and the third to be a decent size, and then the third one to be bigger. In this case, this one being only 6 square meters, we have adapted in a way that it's more of studio, more of an office with a single bed that could be open and closed depending on your needs. Actually, you can see, I don't know if you can see in the picture here, there's a sliding door, okay, where you can prepare the space to be fully open, okay, or fully closed. So that way you can adapt that bedroom, or well, I would say that room, that space, as a bedroom or as an office, okay, depending on your needs, as I'm saying. Here you can see a little bit the way it is. Actually, in these photos, you can see, actually, it doesn't feel that small when I'm talking about 6 square meters. Obviously, it's not that big to have a double bed, to be honest, because it will be quite difficult to access to both sides, depending on where you place it. But as third bedroom, it's as an how to explain, more of an office, more of like a multifunction room. It's perfect to have that single bed with an office, a desk like the way it is, or just prepare the office as it is. As you know, most of the clients, nowadays, they more ask for 2 bedrooms and a third one to be kind of an office. In this case, this would be perfect. It has its own wardrobe, so it's quite comfortable the way it is. Okay. Here you can see a photo of the way the ground floor is. As I said, very comfortable. It comes already, I'll talk about prices later, but it already comes with the motorized gates. So it's very comfortable just with your own fob to open and close with a remote control, drive in, drive out, or even just walk in. It's very comfortable. Okay. Here in this photo, you can see the way the back terrace is. This is the one that was saying there's around 30 something square meters, quite decent size, to be honest. Big enough to have a dining table outside, a big lounge here. Even you can see what we have prepared the show house. Okay, and the good thing is that we have storage room here, perfect for bicycles, even for the washing machine. For those clients that want to place the washing machine and the boiler here, is perfect just to bring it out here. Okay. This photo was taken last week. That's why you can see that the coating is not fully finished yet. Then, if I talk about top floors, in this case, as I was saying, it's also 16 apartments. Actually, in this case, I forgot to remove that. But in this case, all of them are 3 bedrooms. Okay, all of them have decent sized 3 bedrooms. Okay, all of them including parking space outside, the way you see, and storage room. You can see actually the way it has been laid out with 1 parking space per property and 1 storage room. In this case, you can see the staircase that goes up to the top floor, okay, to every single apartment. That's the space we have used in the ground floor to adapt the storage room there, in this case, okay? In this case, this is the plan of the layout of the top floor apartments. In this case, if you see, once we get to the apartment, we have a little terrace here of around 12 square meters to access the property. In this case, these ones, once you open, you get into the living room kitchen. The good thing is, due to the size, which is around 32 square meters, it doesn't feel so small because the whole house opens to you, okay, this way. Then what we have in this case would be the 3 bedrooms, and the bathrooms are the back, in a way that we have split the whole house in day area in the bottom part, and then the top part to be the night area. Okay, and then every single top floor comes with its own solarium. In this case, we have the staircase going up to the solarium internally. Every single top floor has its own staircase inside to go all the way up to a solarium of around 50 square meters. To be honest, it's quite spacious the way it is. We have done, in this case, the same way we did with the ground floor. We have used the space below the staircase to place the washing machine and the boiler. This is actually something that we did with the Mykonos villas, actually. Originally, we did the boiler and the washing machine placed there also. Okay. In this case, you can see this photo. I took it yesterday with the drone, the same on the other ones you saw before, where you can see the layout, in this case, the entrance through this terrace to the property. Okay. You can see this would be, let's say, the back of it or the front, depends on the way you look at it. And then this is the size of the solarium, around 56 square meters, as I said, okay, with some covered area when you get up. The good thing is you can see the door over here that is from the staircase inside, okay? The good thing about the top floors, in this case, all the top floors are coming with pre-installation for solar panels. So in this case, even the roof you see on top can be used for solar panels. It's quite comfortable the way it is. Okay. Then prices. Okay. If we talk about prices, in this case, ground floor apartments, starting price in this case would be 279,900, so 280,000 euros, and top floors from 310. Quite reasonable prices. Bear in mind how the prices are increasing in the whole area. So not only Costa Blanca, but also Costa Cledia, and I think even the whole area is actually increasing a lot. So prices are quite good. In this case, what's included in the price? That's probably something that is going to be very, very attractive for any investor you can have. In this case, properties are coming fully finished. Okay, so we have all the kitchen appliances, the white goods are included. Air conditioning, fully ducted, also included, and furniture pack. Actually, furniture pack comes with even different options to personalize. We have different options of sofas, different options for beds, for tables. So clients don't have to just stick to the ones we provide, but they have different options to choose within the range provided. Okay. And then another point that's something quite interesting for those ones that love to have their own videos, their own recordings. This is something that we are offering now to every single agency that is willing to make their own videos. We have prepared the whole show house and the pool to make videos as you wish. We have different stuff like all the cushions, cocktail shakers with your own glasses. Everything has been prepared, so you can come over and have your own photo shooting prepared over here. You only have to let us know so that we can prepare everything. Even if you want to have like Saturday morning having like a breakfast photo shooting, you let us know in advance and we can even bring you some breakfast. We can bring you everything you need so you can get fully comfortable to have your own time over there and have your own photo shooting the way you love, especially now that summer is, well, I was going to say summer is coming, but actually it's quite hot already. So summer is here, and if you want to have a nice day having your own photos, it's the perfect place to do that. Okay. Something else I didn't talk about, completion dates for the project. In this case, if I go back here, in first phase, you have everything in Google Drive anyway, but in the first phase, we still have 4 properties, 4 ground floors available from this price, and they're going to be ready in November this year. Okay, this same year is going to be fully finished, and then block 2 will be fully finished by the end of 27. So by December 27, the whole project is going to be completely finished. Okay. Then there you have. I hope you like it. Now I would like to help with all the questions, todas las preguntas que tengáis. De hecho, ya estoy viendo una. Please put them down in the chat so I can start reading them and I can start answering everyone, ¿ok? Si podéis ir poniendo vuestras preguntas en el chat, o voy a ir contestando a todas y cada una de ellas. Como digo, voy a responder en ambas. Buenas, Ernesto, ¿qué tal? Acabo de ver tu mensaje. Respecto a la pregunta que comentas, ¿esa zona no es inundable? A ver, Dolores está catalogada como una zona inundable, sobre todo por lo que ha sucedido en los últimos años, con las últimas danas y tal. Entonces, dado que esa zona, pues un poquito de aquella forma, te lo digo yo que lo sufrí en 2019 en mis carnes, ya la normativa a la hora de construir es muy específica y te obliga sí o sí a que las casas estén elevadas 1 metro del suelo, ¿vale? No estamos hablando de que sea una zona que va a estar metida bajo el agua todos los días, porque te lo puedo decir yo personalmente que no es algo que suceda todos los años, y de hecho yo he vivido ahí toda mi vida hasta los 25 años y se han sufrido cosas similares en otros pueblos que no tienen esa catalogación, y la verdad que no dificulta en nada el vivir. Es decir, muchas veces es más la etiqueta que se le pone al lugar como para meter algún tipo de miedo, cuando en realidad hay zonas, incluso si hablamos de zonas de Bélgica o Holanda, que son mucho más preocupantes en cuanto al agua, dado que por ejemplo, Holanda está metido bajo el agua. Dolores en este caso no, ¿vale? Entonces, en este caso no tiene ningún tipo de problema. Just to answer that question about the potential floods that could happen in Dolores. As I was saying in Spanish before, I suffered myself in 2019 about the floods we had over there. And it's true that I don't know why Dolores is being given that label about don't build over there, don't buy a house over there, or you're going to be living underwater. That's not true, to be honest. First of all, the houses over there have to be built a meter above the street level. Okay, so that's the reason why. If you saw the photo before of the ground floor, okay, you can see how high it is from the parking level all the way to the property. So in that case, everything is already arranged in a way that there's no problem with the water. I can tell you where these properties are built and the water we had in the 2019, which for me it's the most famous one because it was the most problematic one, but it wasn't only in Dolores, but it was in the whole area that we were under the water, to be honest. Flo has a years in Dolores. I'll read that now because I don't understand what you mean. But yeah, the way it's been built over there, it's to avoid any issue. Obviously, the area here is actually much higher than the center of Dolores, I have to say. And as I remember, as I was saying, the most famous flood we had over here was 7 years ago, and this area was actually fully dry, I have to say, because all the boats were actually coming from this area. But still was something that wasn't expected, not even Dolores, and it happened because of the river that got broken, and the whole area, even El Moradí, was under the water. So it's not really an issue. Yes, we have water. Every time we have any data around, we have a lot of water, but it's not something that you can say, oh, you can't live over here. To be honest, it's not really an issue. I have to say, my parents are still living over there, very happy where they are, and everyone in town is very used to it. The same way some other areas could be with hurricanes, like in the U.S. They know how to sort it out, and that's fine. The same with earthquakes in Japan. They sort it out their own way. Doesn't mean that Japan is no longer able to live in. So I would say it's not really an issue. Then, acabo de revisar el Sistema Nacional de Cartografía y pone que la peligrosidad por inundación tiene un T igual 500 años en Dolores. Pues eso, es que realmente no supone un peligro el tema de las inundaciones allí, ¿vale? Any other question? I don't know, in this case, if you have more questions about the project, anything else I can help with, please don't be shy. Any doubts, something that I didn't explain myself properly, I'm here. Now I think it's the best moment to ask any question, so don't be shy at all, okay? Exacto, lo que dices, hay zonas bastante... Sí, ya te lo digo yo. De verdad que no es por barrer para casa, pero como digo, yo soy de Dolores, aunque el acento no se note, soy de Dolores y se sabe sobrellevar las veces que ha sucedido, se ha sobrellevado y ya está. That'll be from my side. As I'm saying, you have our Dropbox, our Google Drive, and that QR code. You all can find our Google Drive in all our social media. You have my phone number, you have David's phone number on screen right now. Please, we are preparing, as I said, we're preparing all our show house to be available to take photos anytime, to feel comfortable, to feel at home. We don't mind if it's a big agency, if it's a very small one. We know that most of the times small agencies are more, I don't know how to find the word, but feel more shy to ask for photos or to be comfortable in a show house. And to be honest, in our case, we're very welcome with every single agency, because we know in our case, our main client is the agency. So our main idea is to sell the house to you in a way that every time you have a client, you think about us to sell our properties. Okay? Thank you very much for attending, and hope to see you around again. WhatsApp, email, social media. We're fully available anywhere. Okay? Thank you very much for assisting today. Thank you.